right, we are entering into episode 3 of our series, Adulting. And if you guys will take some time within your group and go over verse 2 Peter 3:18, we'll dive right into our questions of the week.
So pain is a normal part of life. We all deal with it as believers, and everybody deals with pain. Today we're talking about 5 ways that I can grow through my pain. And the first point is I can use it to draw closer to God. And so the verse, 2 Corinthians 1:8-9, Paul is talking about the pain that he endured, which was really severe. He went through some really terrible things. And he talks about how he actually was able to find hope and draw close to God through that pain. And so what we want to talk about today is, why does pain draw us closer to God? So Mandy, what do you think about that?
Well, I really love that in that verse he talks about the result. So the result of that pain was that he stopped relying on himself and learned to rely on God. And I just think there's a lot of refinement that happens in our times of pain, right? Like, and pain, when we think about like growth, even there's that idea of like pain and breaking, and like growth being just a potentially painful process. And I think that fits here too.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. So in your own groups, why don't you discuss amongst each other why it is that our pain can help us to draw closer to God.
All right, and then our second point is that I can use it to draw closer to others. We use a Timothy verse in this, the 2 Timothy 2:3, and it just says, "Endure suffering along with me as a good soldier of Jesus." And I love Timothy in that relationship between Paul and Timothy, and you can just see that they are working together and growing together, even though they're at very different points in their lives and in their ministry. And so why is it that pain can be eased whenever it is if it's shared with others?
Yeah, I think we use our pain to draw close to others because it's in those moments, one, that we're vulnerable when we're in pain, and we kind of show our true selves when we're struggling and when we're in pain. And then when somebody can help us in our pain, that it increases our affection for that person. We appreciate them. And so it creates this opportunity for us to show love to each other and cause us to grow closer.
Yeah, that's so good.
So our third way that we can grow through pain is I can use it to grow more like Jesus. And so Paul talks about in 2 Corinthians 7:10-11 how our pain actually drives us to grow closer to God. And in this sense, Jesus himself suffered pain for us. He went to the cross for us. He lived a life of pain. And when we experience pain, we then experience some of what Jesus experienced. And so it draws us closer to him. And so our discussion question for this point is to explain how enduring pain makes us more merciful. So what do you think about that, Mandy?
I think that it doesn't always make us merciful. Like, we have to make decisions. That's why I think it was divine, like God's ability or Jesus' ability to be merciful in his time of pain, that we do have to make choices. Even I know if I'm in pain, I'm way quicker to be angry or, short, because it's so distracting. Like, pain can be so distracting. And so that enduring pain, like, we still have to decide who we are.
Right. And that's even in the verse, it says, "But those who let distress drive them away from God are full of regrets, end up on a deathbed of regrets." Sometimes our pain can drive us away from God and make us less merciful. So it takes that choice to actually let it draw us towards God and to be more merciful. So in your groups, discuss that, why or how enduring pain makes us more merciful, and maybe talk about how sometimes it doesn't.
So then point 4 is I can use it to help others. And we are going to come out of 2 Corinthians 1, 4 through 6 for that. And it just talks about God comforting us in our troubles so that we can comfort. It comes back kind of to that merciful idea, right, that we talked about, like what Jesus has done. But him comforting us allows us to comfort others. And that, for the more we suffer for Christ, the more God will shower us with his comfort through Christ. And that just is such a beautiful way of giving purpose to pain, I think. And then if we can be that voice, again, when we talked about pain and what it does to your mindset, you will need people, right, to come around you and give you a perspective that you might not be able to see. So our discussion question is, how can my pain be a means through which I can help others? What do you think?
I think that it's so helpful to realize that when other people are enduring pain, if I've endured that same pain, then I'm in a position to be sympathetic. I'm in a position to help. I'm in a position to identify with that. And so just like we talked about earlier, sometimes being in pain draws us close to each other. It especially draws us close to each other when we have shared pain, when we've experienced the same things.
Yeah, these are clubs that no one really necessarily wants to be a part of, but sometimes having community even around those things can be one of our saving graces through that pain for sure. All right, we'll discuss amongst your groups what it is about pain that allows us to be able to help others.
So our last point on how I can use my pain to grow is I can use it to witness to the world. And our verse is Philippians 1:12. It says, "And I want you to know, my dear brothers and sisters, that everything that has happened to me here has helped to spread the good news." And this is Paul talking, and he's talking about being in prison and how being in prison has actually created opportunities for him to spread the gospel to people that he wouldn't have had the opportunity to spread the gospel to. And pain can sometimes do that. It can create opportunities and open doors for us. So, Mandy, talk about how pain inspires us to be better witnesses.
Well, what I like about Paul's story, too, is that it takes him to probably unfamiliar places for many people, right? That our pain puts us in positions and around people that we might not have, in our more pristine life and lifestyles would have put ourselves in. And so it does give us the opportunity that wherever we are, we're going to be planted and we're going to, be rooted there and still give the gospel no matter what the circumstance may be. And I think that when we have a purpose within our pain too, then it's honestly a way of helping us survive the pain. Right.
Yeah,
so,
I agree.
So that is how I would think that pain helps us to be better in our world.
Yeah. So finish up by talking in your groups about how pain inspires us to be better witnesses.